So now let us discuss the principles, the main characteristics of the bilingual method. Okay. We have seen the definition given by Leonard Bloomfield. What did he say? He said that if a person has a command over the two languages, the native and the foreign, then we call such a person a bilingual. Okay, this was the definition given by Leonard Bloomfield. Now we are talking about principles. If you get a question, write the main characteristics of principles. That is one and the same thing. Principles of bilingual method, or main characteristics of main features of bilingual method. The first one I would say that bilingual method is the combination of two methods. What are they? Come on, you tell me yourself. It's a combination of two methods.
Direct method and grammar translation method.
Direct method, very good. Direct method and the grammar translation method. It's a combination of, it's a fusion of two methods. So we can write combination of. Good. Combination of fusion, you may say. Combination of two methods. Two methods. What methods you said?
Direct method.
Okay. First we write grammar translation method and direct method. Okay. I will written the abbreviations. We also call it GTM and DM. GTM is grammar translation method. GTM is grammar translation and DM means direct method. So bilingual method is a fusion, is a combination of these two methods. This is the first principle, right? You will say these two methods are used judiciously in a bilingual class, and mother tongue is used to explain the meanings and structures of foreign language in the beginning, in the in the initial stage. When the students already gain command over the language, then mother tongue is not used. So when do we explain meanings? When do we use the mother tongue? Mother tongue is used to explain the meaning of words. What kind of words? I was using as a word, adjective in fact, meaning of intricate, complex words. At the initial stage, not at the advanced stage, advanced level, at the initial stage. At the initial stage. So there is a condition here. Once the students gain command, it's better to give up this method, bilingual method, and switch over to the direct method. Okay, this is the second principle. I almost written a sentence instead of a point. Yeah. Then bilingual method advocates the use of L1 in learning the L2. I'm saying this. This point is important. This principle is important in the sense that DM, the direct method, keeps the language, the target, the mother tongue away, but it favors, it advocates the use of the L1 in learning the L2. Okay. Advocates means favors, supports. Advocates using L1 in learning the L2. Okay, this can be the advocates using L1 in learning the L2. Which method advocates, which method supports? The bilingual method. Okay, it is distinct from the translation method, the grammar translation method, in that it places a strong emphasis on oral language. Okay, oral drill syndrome. In translation method, there is no scope for, there is no room for oral oral skill or learning the spoken skills, improving the spoken skills. Emphasis given on reading or say writing. Spoken skills are not given importance there in the translation method. So this is different. Although L1 is used, but it is different from the translation method in the sense that it places strong emphasis on oral language, teaching of oral language, teaching language orally. Okay, and then you must remember that in grammar translation method, vocabulary is taught to students. Students are taught individual words. Is it not? They are asked to learn the meanings of individual words by heart. This is what. But here, individual words are not taught. Individual words are not taught. And so what is the unit of teaching? Sentence is the unit of teaching. Remember, this is again an important principle, an important characteristic of bilingual method. Sentence. You may even take down, okay? Sentence is the unit of, I don't know, this is, sentence is, get me another, sentence is the unit of language teaching. Language teaching. Okay? Sentence is the unit of language teaching. Can you set it right, please? So what is the unit of teaching? Sentence is the unit of teaching, right? Sentence is the unit of teaching. Whereas in grammar translation method, words are taught, individual words are taught. And another point can be, another principle, you can say that mother tongue is kept away while students are given practice in sentence patterns. You know, like you are given practice in sentence of sentence patterns there in the direct method. Same as in the direct method, sentence patterns are taught even in the bilingual class. And when sentence patterns are taught, that is S plus V plus O plus C, mother tongue is kept away. Is that fine? Mother tongue is kept away while students are given practice in what? In sentence patterns. In sentence patterns. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Shall I write it? I said mother tongue is kept away, is not used when students are given practice. When students are given practice in sentence patterns. Okay, in sentence patterns. Now you know sentence patterns, intransitive sentence patterns, transitive sentence patterns. What are intransitive sentence pattern? The students are given practice in yes. Intransitive sentence patterns. Remember, sentence patterns where you do not have object. Okay, sentences which do not have object, you call them intransitive, and sentences which have object, what do you call them? Transitive. Okay, transitive. Please remember each and everything which you are taught there in the classroom, because that supports, it doesn't mean, like we are moving further and you're just forgetting the things which were discussed, which were taught earlier. So you can do well only when you remember things. Yeah. So these are the principles. Let's have a quick look once again. Bilingual method is a combination of two methods: grammar translation method and the direct method. Mother tongue is used to explain the meaning of intricate words, difficult words. Entire sentences are not, given the mother tongue equivalents, and that too at the initial stage. Once the students have already reached the advanced level, mother tongue is not used. Third point, advocates using L1 in the learning of L2. What is L1 and L2? Come on, tell me.
L1 is the native language and L2 is the foreign language.
Foreign language, good. Sentence is a unit of language teaching. How is it different from the grammar translation method? Sentence is a unit of language teaching in bilingual method, whereas in translation method,
Words.
words are the unit of language teaching. Individual words are taught. And number 5, mother tongue is not used when students are given practice in sentence patterns. S plus V plus O plus C plus A I'm talking about. Okay, so these are the principles. I've been telling you again and again, whenever you ask, like, what do you understand by the bilingual method, or what do you understand by the direct method or the grammar translation method, you are supposed to discuss the principles, then advantages and disadvantages. Okay, this is how. And there should be a proper sequence also of the answer. It's not that you are discussing the principles later after discussing advantages and disadvantages. No, principles are discussed first. Principles, when you are discussing principles, that means you are telling the major characteristics, major features of that method. So since we are already discussed it, now we can move on to the advantages, or say the merits of the bilingual method. Yes, say mother tongue of the students, as I told you, is considered to be the greatest resource in the language learning process. Mother tongue is an aid. Okay, it's a support. It's a resource. It's not a taboo like it is in the direct method. So this could be the first point. What is the first point? That mother tongue, or first advantage, first merit, that mother tongue is considered to be an aid, a greater resource. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
L1 is considered an aid. Okay, it's not considered a taboo, it's considered an aid, a help, an aid in learning L2. Learning L2. Students feel comfortable at the initial stage when their mother tongue is spoken in their classroom. Because when you are teaching a foreign language at the initial stage, it's not very easy. That means the students do not find it comfortable to listen to the foreign language all the time. Okay, they cannot even respond to at the initial stages. So it in fact advocates, it supports, it is considered an aid. The bilingual method, unlike the direct method, makes good use of the linguistic habits already acquired by the learners in the process of learning. Okay, learning their mother tongue. The advocates of the bilingual method argue that rather than being a hindrance, an impediment, the mother tongue of the students is the greatest resource, a greatest help, a greatest aid in the language learning process. Okay, the bilinguists or the advocates of bilingual method say that L1 is not an impediment, L1 is not a hindrance, it is rather a resource, an aid, a help in learning the language too, in learning the target language. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Who consider it a taboo? Who consider it an impediment? Who consider it a hindrance in learning the L2?
Direct method.
Okay, advocates of the direct method. In fact, I must say, the right use of mother tongue by the teacher does not spoil the environment of the teaching of English. It doesn't spoil. If you're using the mother tongue judiciously, okay. If you're using the mother tongue sparingly, I must say, not freely but sparingly. On the contrary, I must say, if you're using it this way, sparingly, judiciously, it helps in teaching of English language. Okay, it assists. You can teach English better if you are using the mother tongue sparingly, judiciously. Okay, this is true particularly at the elementary level, at the initial stage, as I said, when the mother tongue has been firmly established in the student's mind. Because when they newly start learning the L2, when learners newly start learning the target language, then the mother tongue is firmly established in their minds. So instead of asking them to keep the mother tongue away from the classroom, it is better that you take help of the L1 in teaching them the target language, in teaching them the second language. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
So what is the first advantage? That the advocates of the bilingual method consider that L1 is in fact an aid, it is in fact a resource, a strong resource in learning the L2. And students who are taught through this method, bilingual method, they become functional bilinguals. Means they can use the two languages nicely, because they hear that their teacher is speaking the two languages. So what do they become? They become functional bilinguals. This can be the second advantage. Students who are taught through the direct method right from the beginning, they do not become functional bilinguals, but students here who are taught through bilingual method become functional bilingual. Okay, let me write this. Students become functional. Functional means that means they can use both the languages. They can be a practical use of both the languages by the students who are taught through bilingual method. The students become functional bilinguals. If the aim is to make the learners become fully bilingual, means if you want your students to gain practical command in two languages, in terms of say language learning, this method, the bilingual method, is considered to be the most appropriate one. Like as a competent teacher, moves from L1 and L2, these students imitate him and learn the target language with perfect ease and become functional bilinguals. Okay. So it's not that teacher, as I told you earlier, is all the time speaking the mother tongue. He moves from L1 to L2. Okay, like from from the known to the unknown. From the known to the unknown. Known is mother tongue and unknown is the target language. So when he see this, like development, this movement, then students also learn the two languages well. They become functional bilinguals. This is, a very important advantage, a very important merit of the bilingual method. In fact, in many countries, the need is felt to make the students bilingual, because if a student is able to communicate only in one language, then it's not an asset, I must say. It's a drawback. It's a loophole. It's a limitation. If you can speak more languages, good for you. That is why, even in India we have two language formula. Two language formula means that students, or three language formula, you may say. Students know the second language besides their own. For example, in North Indian states, students know the mother tongue, that is Hindi, and they learn the English language. Whereas in South Indian states, like in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, or Andhra Pradesh or Karnataka, these like four Dravidian states, you may say, they not only know their own language, they not only know Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada, and Telugu. Okay, besides their own mother tongues, they are supposed to learn Hindi, it being the national language, and they learn it. Okay, although they are not that efficient or competent or less proficient as the North Indians are, since it is the mother tongue of the North Indians, yet they learn it. And besides these two, they learn one more language, which is that the English language. This is the foreign language. So in a way, you know, they are better. They are better in the sense that they know 3 languages, whereas the North Indians know only 2 languages. Okay. And here, you know, I would like to tell you that it is different from the translation method, the use of L1. When you use L1, you use it sparingly, so it's different. In the bilingual method, unlike the translation method or the grammar translation method, native language is used by the teacher alone. Okay, in translation method, native language is used both by the teachers and the students, whereas in bilingual method, this is a very important point, please note it. Okay, what is it? What I'm saying, that in translation method, the mother tongue is used by both the students and the teachers, whereas in the bilingual method, native language is used by the teacher alone. Okay, by the teacher alone. The students do not use their native tongue, the mother tongue, in the classroom. Therefore, the chances of picking up the foreign language, obviously, foreign language structures both in written and the spoken form are more in the bilingual method.